It's a nice, cool morning in capital city Kingston. As a matter of fact, wet in parts. And so you need to bear that in mind as you head out. There were some overnight showers and some drizzles in parts of the city this morning. We say good morning to you and welcome to Top of the Bridge, Up and Go. My name is Richie B.
Welcome on Bridge Nation, this is your boy Shelz.
What's up, Bridge Nation? DJ Audley's in the building as usual.
Yeah, we're only 10 minutes into the program. There's a lot to look forward to. And we're happy to be in your company once again. It's a new month. It's the month of December. And what can I tell you? Christmas is just around the corner. We've been saying that for a while now.
Yeah.
It becomes more evident today, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. Urge strong around the corner, too.
Yeah, man. How went that, brother?
The 10th.
What?
Yes, you
man. Sitting at the other week. It's a weekday or a weekend?
Weekend.
All right.
Saturday.
Trouble if we see him the following Monday. Yeah, so it's a good month then, right?
A great month.
You talk up your month as I talk up my September.
That's right.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing wrong. We're not talking about August, Chuck.
Hey, if him talk about December like how him talk about Portmore, enough talking, so go ahead.
I will tell you.
All right, we got some football matches to look forward to today as well as the World Cup continues inside of Qatar. And we'll tell you all that we know and that we can share right here on 99 on the FM band, 99.1, 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9 on the FM band. We're streaming as well.
You know the vibes, go peeps, www.thebridge99fm.com.
All right, in 3 minutes, we'll tell you what's up for the program. Stick around. Time now for
WTF, what the fact? All right, Christmas time in the peeps, here we're going. It has been found that every Christmas, we use about 3,000 tons of aluminum foil to wrap turkeys, chickens, you don't know in our case, ham and them thing. You know you got Jamaicans. And a great number of other dishes that we put into the oven. Christmas dinner is a happy and important event for almost every person in the world, which is why a lot of cooking and baking is done each year. So it seems usual that we use so much aluminum foil.
I'm more interested in what we put in the foil though. And by the way, that ham, we said no ham, radam. Jody agreed with me on that one.
All right.
Yo,
all right.
And that's enough. Them all right.
Them all right.
I'm not one of those that say, yo, I don't want to meat, but give me the gravy. I them pan got something.
Yeah, I don't want about it.
Yeah, but we use a lot of foil, man.
Yeah, man, enough.
Yeah.
It makes sense. This is definitely a fact. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm more.
Yeah, me use the foil now.
Oh, there.
When every morning when me screech out and we take a little one slice of the dark sweet something there.
The cake and true.
Yo,
yeah, man.
When you go to family gathering,
gosh, man.
You have to make sure. Yeah, I have 6 sisters,
See there.
Most times 4 of them are here, and everybody bake and thing.
See there.
So we have to make sure we get a piece of the Christmas pudding and the Christmas cake from each of them.
Yeah, man.
So it's a good look.
Yes.
When you get right down to it, and some of my foil get used up.
Man, I tell you. I think Christmas period, the most food, Richie, I think, and drink is consumed.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a good vibe.
Yeah, man.
Looking forward to it.
Well, but people at the gym, them I forget busy come January.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Yeah, man.
Well, I know the machine them a cry.
Trust me. That was WTF.
What the fact?
Yeah, give them an update.
Yeah. All right, here we're going on, Richard. There's a woman, an artist, Nigerian artist, that we've always been so surprised sometimes when it comes to her beauty. Cause like she dressed so, she's so modest with her dressing over time. I would say, so what he likes, no man. So both are shot, man. You understand? I'm talking about Thames. And recently she did a little magazine shoot that, she started showing some skin in her, Richie. And, and fans are telling her about things. But yeah, we're going on. Thames clap back at the critics. First say, after she start embracing her body, the critics, I'm going to say, I'm to your religious beliefs and all that. Here we're going. Thames is setting the record straight and clearing fans who have big expectations of her. Now on Tuesday, the artist had harsh words for fans who felt that she was no longer religious as they reacted to her latest Dazed magazine photo shoot. Now, the photo shoot featured the artist in lingerie and in outfits that showed some skin in the photos. And the words Thames on top on the photos was captioned, which showed the Nigerian artist wearing a 2-piece skirt and a bottom with a part of her midsection out. Another photo showed the artist in a leather dress with a peekaboo lace by the hips area, which was see-through, while another showed her covered in a royal blue fluffy coat along with a leather short set fishnet stockings and platform heels. Now, some of the artist's fans were not pleased with the photos and called her out on Twitter. In one tweet, a fan accused her of being a hypocrite and implied she had changed from a church girl to selling her records. Well, the artist, Thames, she said, yo, no, I'm have to address what I go on. So she said, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I am not your Christian savior. Thames began, I didn't come here to uphold your beliefs about God. I will not fit into this box you try to put me in. I won't satisfy you in that area. Please find the person that will. Or ask yourself why you care.
Yo. Yo. She put them in a place good and proper. Yo. I mean, she's a writer. She writes a lot of great songs. So she doesn't have a problem with words and expressing herself. Yo. That should silence somebody.
Yeah.
Go Thames.
Yeah,
man. All right. Now, the big story that we indicated earlier has to do with a Jamaican young man born in the parish of St. Thomas who has been taking the world by storm. He goes by the name Skilly Bang, and he came out on top among 6 Jamaicans for the 2022 Mobile Awards for Best Caribbean Music Act. For 2022, the music of black origin, MOBO, which, you know, in the UK they would say it's the equivalent to the Grammy Awards from the US, they announced that they discontinued the Best Reggae Act category and replaced it with Best Caribbean Music Act, thus covering the wider Caribbean community. Despite that, the nominees were made up entirely of Jamaican acts, namely Sean Paul, Coffee, Popcorn, Shensia, Spice, and Skilly Bang, who emerged victorious, taking home his first MOBO award. Skilly Bang attended the event and he thanked the award ceremony for giving him the award. He also shouted out his homeland in his acceptance speech when he said, I present Jamaica. Yo, I like how the youth start. Right there, so him have my attention big time. He said, I present Jamaica. Then he continued, I'm from a small island where it's very hard, and I really appreciate this award. To everybody that's working hard, believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, keep doing what you're doing. Big up to all my team, everybody who supported and who voted. Well, Skilliband's East Side Records label shared a photo of his award on IG, and they thanked the DJ, and of course, he's signed to RCA Records, and he's one of the leading Jamaican artists this year. He has done a slew of singles and international collabs. Look at it. He has worked with the likes of Busta Rhymes and Nicki Minaj. He did collaborations with French Montana, Shensia, and many more. And he's showing no signs of slowing down. Just to backtrack a little bit, Shensia won the award in 2021, the MOBO Award for Best Reggae Act at the time. And before that, in 2020, it was the Gargamel Buju Banton, legendary artist, who won the MOBO for Best Reggae Act. But Skilly has now won for the first time the Best Caribbean Music Act. This is how the announcement was made at the MOBO Awards yesterday.
Okay, people, the winner of the Best Caribbean Music Act is Skilly Bang! Yeah!
All right, just to be certain and to be safe. Yeah. Well, what happened is a lot of excitement, a lot of you can see it on the screens for those streamers, and of course there's a whole of people in the audience that surrounded him. Lots of hugs and kisses and handshakes and bumping of fists as he was walking toward the stage, while the music of wap 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 was being played in the background. Incidentally, they were playing the raw version, which is one of the reasons why we cut even that moment the audio. But it's a good look, and you can tell that he was a popular winner based on the reaction of the audience and even the person making the announcement. It's a good look for him. We say congratulations as he's going up, and I thought his speech was really a good speech as well. You know what I mean? When you start a speech by saying, I present Jamaica. Yo.
A good move.
Yeah, intelligent stuff. And later on, we might even get a chance to hear his acceptance speech itself. So for now, congratulations. To Skilly.
Yeah. Eastside.
That is it for
Update.
All right, so the proverb of the day is big blanket make man sleep late.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Hold on now. What kind of blanket they talk about?
Oh, me know what me a talk about.
Sorry, what I mean is, what kind of blanket them I talk about?
Oh, yeah.
I want to tell you, any type of blanket could relate. Big blanket make man sleep late.
That sound like something I forget. Sound like don't get too comfortable or something like that.
That's how it go, you know.
That's so?
Yeah, man, right, that's so. An overabundance of luxuries causes one to become complacent and to take life's blessings for granted.
I like this one.
Big blanket make man sleep late. So what happened to woman?
See it there. See it there. That me there.
All right, the next time we have we might have that in part 2.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the proverb of the day. Now, Shelz.
Yeah.
I hear is your
pet peeve.
Your pet peeve we have a run with this morning.
Yeah. So before
who trouble you, brother?
So tell you what go on. Social media still for people who don't quite understand what go on. So pet peeves are things that others do that you may find annoying, irritating, or even upsetting. So hear my own now. I step on some corn, Rich, especially during the season. First and foremost, when it comes to social media, I understand. To each his own or her own. Now, your page, do what you want to do. But my pet peeve are when people post their gifts online. It's not a hating thing, Jojo. Me can't. You see me? Me can't. Me get it, Richie.
Really?
I can understand your post like the gift and them wrapped under the tree. It's like, oh, give thanks for the blessings. But you got some boops and show you get the this and the that. Thank you, boo. Thank you, daddy. Thank you, mommy. Nah, bro.
What problem do you have with that, sir?
No, I can't take it. You know what you show? What is the purpose of showing it to the followers?
Joy, happiness,
nah, sir.
glad bag, boss.
Now keep the happiness with the people who give the gift.
By the way, I'm not the one who does that. But
yeah,
I'm just saying.
No, I do, but that's what I said.
Devil's advocate.
No, but you get what I say, Richie. Like, you see me I say, because of them thing that, and then no wonder why people like Kim Kardashian they get robbed and them thing. Then I feel careful now, do man. I can't just show everybody on the thing. So you see me I say. I understand, but you're grateful, you know.
Maybe it's a small thing that they got to, but they're still very, very happy.
No, Richie,
you know what I mean?
That's the thing. But pay attention to them thing there, you know. So if it was a little simple gift, them now post them there. You can't argue all you want. You argue the thing them a cost 20 grand and up.
No.
You post the thing them a cost 20,000 and up. Watch this season. Them now post say them get something simple like a little knife holder or something. I don't know.
Nobody now gonna take the inside page of the Christmas card where they say how much I love you and appreciate you. That now feature.
Richie, it's like you know go on. Them post the thing them have a certain price tag that get post. Then I have to ask.
So what is a competition thing like them I try to show some other people say, oh look what me get, what you get.
Don't even get me started on the matching pajamas.
Yo. So what you trying to tell me say? Ideally you really want nobody to post these
no man. No, it's not that. You understand me? There are different ways for sure that you're blessed. You understand what I mean? But as I said.
Okay.
For me personally, everybody get nice gift and thing, everybody spend and thing, but I'm just saying.
Well, not everybody get nice gifts. In all honesty, I mean, out the road enough time here people complain and thing. Even a Pixie.
Hey, Pixie, a serious thing, man. Pixie.
So, as to that,
yeah, but Pixie, the next thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be careful, guys. That's all I'm just really saying. Be careful when you're posting the thing them online. You know the thing.
Don't be too braggadocious.
Yeah. You never know.
Even whilst you're giving thanks and you know thankful and everything. Yeah,
be careful.
All right. So that was a pet peeve that we kind of smoothed off in the end to make it more palatable. And we're going to be talking to Jerome Edwards in any second now. Now, HIV/AIDS remains a major public health issue that affects millions of people all over the world. Over the last few years, progress towards HIV goals has stalled. Resources and those have shrunk, and numerous lives are at risk as a result. Disparity and inequity of access to health services and HIV services in particular, and disregard for human rights are among the failures that have allowed HIV to become and remain a global health crisis. Today, December 1, the World Health Organization, the WHO, joins partners to mark World AIDS Day 2022 under the theme Equalize. Now, the WHO is calling on global leaders and citizens to boldly recognize and address the inequities which are holding back progress in ending HIV/AIDS. And we're going to be delving more into that subject with our very special guest at this time, Jerome Edwards, who in fact is a community outreach officer at the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Edwards.
Good morning, Richie. Good morning, Shelz. How are you guys, man?
We're doing well.
Give thanks, man.
Awesome.
And we're very pleased to have you on with us at this time. How significant is World AIDS Day from your perspective, Jerome?
Well, World AIDS Day is very significant. It has been recognized since 1987 or 1988, some would say, from the first inception of the first patient being positive. Around the world, people have recognized, shown strength, show support to person living with HIV. And we don't need one special day to do it. We should do it all day around the world. But December the 1st is that day that we push out the extra strength, show extra support to persons living with HIV.
Understood. Now, Jerome, for those who may not know, can you just explain, what is HIV or AIDS?
All right. So HIV is a virus that causes AIDS. HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. HIV is passed on 4 ways: unprotected sex, blood transfusion, through needles, and also pregnant mothers to child. But thankfully, for the past 10 years or more, so Jamaica hasn't seen a pregnant mother to child transmission, right? So, and there are several ways we can prevent HIV. One of the biggest ways is using a condom every time. And another way is, which some Jamaican men won't even listen to, is stick to one faithful, uninfected partner. Yeah.
That's right. Powerful words right there. Now, speaking of powerful words, the word equalize is the theme. Can you just explain the thought process behind that?
So the thought process behind equalize is we want government agencies, around the world, especially in Jamaica, to bridge a gap between giving out healthcare or global access to healthcare. That is, so equal access. So it doesn't matter your race, your sexual orientation, and most importantly, your socioeconomic background. So whether from the ghetto, whether from the uptown, equal access to care where HIV is concerned. So that is it, equalize. Let's equalize the treatment, let's equalize the care, let's equalize the education, let's equalize all of that. Right. And let's end stigma and discrimination for HIV.
Okay. What kind of statistics do you have that you can share with us this morning, Jerome? For instance, what percentage of the Jamaican population at this stage is affected by AIDS?
That's a very good question. So, in Jamaica, we have over 34,000 persons living in HIV. And percentage, by chance, that is like 1.3%, right? So for a little nation, we have over 34,000 persons living in HIV. And half of that, which is about 15,000 or 17,000 thereabouts, don't know that they're positive. So there's still more work needs to be done. There's still more access to care, access to treatment, ending stigma and discrimination. The work never ends.
That's right. Never ends indeed. Now, as you celebrate, World AIDS Day today, what kind of activities are going to be taking place that you want to highlight here with us?
So last night we wrapped up a special viewing of Wakanda, where AHF Jamaica brought all partners to have a special viewing, a different feel, including persons living with HIV came and watched that movie, right? And we talked about HIV, and that's Carib 5.
Nice.
We talked about HIV, we talked about the fight against HIV, we talked about everything, and that was a very different change of theme. Now today on the day, different partners are having different things. So there's going to be at Mandela Park, in Halfway Tree, Jamaica is Support for Life is going to have free HIV testing there. And free HIV is right across the Jamaica today. So you can come to our organization at 183 Hagley Park Road and get tested for HIV for free. You can get tested for other STIs. And guess what? You can get treatment there free as well.
Wow.
Yeah. That's not only for today, that's every day.
Nice.
But different organizations doing different things across Jamaica, different health fairs, different regions, all across the board.
Yeah. That is a very good initiative. And what are the hours that you'll be open there?
So at 183 Hagley Park Road, that's AHF, we open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have a wellness center. So at our wellness center, you can get SRH education. You can come and pick up condoms for free. You can come and pick up lubricant for free. You can come and get tested for free. You get the medication if you're infected with something for free. Everything there is free.
All right.
All right.
Any word you want to leave with us before you go?
Yes, and that's a very good question again. So, if you guys follow us on AHF Jamaica across social media platform, we're doing a wire challenge. Now, that challenge is to show support, right, for persons living with HIV. So, you just go on TikTok, grab the wire sound, right, wear a touch of red, right, and just do a move to show support, right, for persons living with HIV, to show them that they're not alone. And we're here, we have a leaning shoulder. Everybody can help chive in, chip in, do something for someone living with HIV today. And most importantly, use a condom every time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Jerome. We appreciate your presence here today, man, and keep on keeping on. All the best to you and the team, all right?
Respect.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for having me.
All right. Jerome Edwards, ladies and gentlemen, Community Outreach Officer at the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Good morning. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Ian, how are you doing?
Good morning. Yes, Richie.
Yeah, man. And Shelz there, too.
Go ahead. Go
Yes,
ahead.
good morning.
Yeah,
All
good
right.
morning.
What's your
Yeah.
answer today, Ian?
Yeah, so I thought I did some review.
Yes.
I feel like it's somebody in a laboratory, right? And they're striking a lighter.
Striking a lighter.
Yeah, striking a lighter, catching up the fire, and then it goes out. The sound that it's making, it's an outing sound. Boop, boop, boop. That's what I'm feeling.
What you just heard was Ian's description of what happened in Jody's lab, and it is interesting what he said. Now, let me just see what she's saying now. The person does what, Ian?
Yes, the person is lighting, trying to catch a fire, lighting with a lighter, and then the sound, the outing sound there goes a boop, 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 boop.
You're,
That sound there, the outing of the fire.
you're telling me that when you hear this sound, that is what you're hearing?
Yes.
What do you end up on?
Ah, boy.
Ian,
I love a good essay.
how long we've been having this sound, man? That's what you came here with this morning?
Yeah.
Boy, you sound like you're confident about it.
Yeah. I feel more or less
You
confident.
feel more or less confident. You want to change anything about that answer?
No, it's
It's over a month now we're on that sound, you know. You have been a winner for so many times on my program, Ian.
Just take
And,
that basket.
yes, I said I feel confident that we'll be having a winner today, but that is what you come here with this morning, bro?
Let me just
Yes.
go put up the package from now, yeah, because it now work out, Richie.
All those streaming with us, look at it. That's the package that he's going after. And there are 6 other calls waiting.
Cha-cha.
Ian says it's a sound of what?
A lighter.
A lighter. And that knocking sound,
Trying to catch fire.
yeah,
Nah, work.
is when you're outing it, right? Well. Let me tell you, bro, there's no easy way to do it.
Ah, boy.
But we got to do what we got to do. Ian,
Ian Machi.
let me just tell you straight up, brethren. You are a winner! Yes, sir. That's the sound you're hearing. Well described by you from start to finish, Ian.
Yes, Richie.
That is the sound that Jody created in her lab.
I sit down here now, I sat down in and,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, what?
And my wife was talking to me about it, and we just started to think it up, you know?
Nice.
Think it up carefully, think about it carefully, and really listen to it good, and, you know?
And
Just put it up.
nothing that I said would make you change anything about the answer.
No, Richie.
Couldn't throw you off.
No.
Congratulations, Ian. We're proud of you, man. Give him a round of applause. Well done.
Yes,
and that gift package is all yours for yourself and your wife and family to enjoy. Merry Christmas. Big up yourself again, Ian.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, John, Shelz, and all of you.
Yeah, man.
Big up, bro.
And Jody, who create the sound.
You know.
Yes, sir, back in our lab now.
Yeah.
Hey. And she have a plan for all of it. Not just the Bridge Nation, but all of us. Thank you, Jody. Congratulations, Ian. Right now, it's time for us to go to London.
Yeah.
And we've got Roboranks ready, willing, and able, like he was on the past weekend when he closed out a show that featured the likes of Beanie Man and Mr. Vegas and QQ. I watched the show earlier this morning, and I saw when he closed out by saying, "Dance hall can't stall." And he handed the microphone to the stage technician. "I saw you, sir. Good morning, Roboranks."
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, he can't stall, and we had to hand the microphone very politely to the stage manager, because Richie.
Yes.
When it comes to dancehall, it can't stall, but it always runs over time.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, 1 more minute, every minute past 11 p.m., it's 100 good British pounds. Not the Queen's pounds, the King's pounds. A minute, every minute over is 100 pounds in those venues. So,
But nobody reacted like Orville did.
Which
Orville Burrell.
No. Not when you're paying £100 a minute. No.
Nobody lost their cool like Shaggy did. That's what I'm trying to say. When they were trying to cut his time recently. No, it didn't get to that stage.
Well, I think we were all told, so we didn't make it reach like a minute over because yeah.
Okay.
And the excuses. The excuses, and sometimes we forget it. Very very busy city, as you know. And lots of people come from all over London or all over the country to get to these shows. And we have a tube network that shuts down at 12:30. Oh. Yeah. So cleaners, staff, obviously patrons, people have to get home. You can't drive to some of these venues. Yeah. Impossible to park. So they got to get out. So when we're in the venue and we are beat down the wall and shit long and up. People's got to get to work, people got to get home. So not a minute over. So yeah, it ran to time, and it was a great advert for the culture. Most definitely.
I also saw images of the people on their way out. Like there was a sort of like a hallway and thousands of people with everybody just looked happy coming from the show, and it really was a good look, man. Trust me. Big respects. I also see where there's another big event coming up next year, and it's being promoted already with Chronix coming to the UK. And he's going to be joined by Shensia and the MOBA Award winner, Skilly Beng. And quite a few others. I think they call it City Splash. That is for
City Splash.
Yeah, for next year.
In the heart of London again, in Brixton, open air. So we're kind of we're into our 3rd year now where, as they say, release the chains. Where now festivals are black festivals now.
Yeah.
And this wasn't the case, pre-pandemic. It was virtually impossible for an organizer to keep an event in London, which was solely a black event, like and call it a festival. There'd been objections from the local council, don't want it round here. Objections from the police, too many people of that type in one area, and all those different rejections. But now it's now becoming a normalized thing now that festivals are happening in London. These usually happen, as you know, Richie, out of London, so on the outskirts, somewhere in one bush or somewhere. But now it's happening in London. This is in the heart of Brixton. I think it's their 3rd year.
Coffee is also on it. It looks like a fantastic lineup of artists. I mean, it looks like about 20 or 30 artists that are already being promoted.
It's a festival right there.
Yeah, that's
just the start of it. And you're pretty sure to see that there'll be a few more come later down the summer, a few more festivals and a few more lineups that will surprise you as well. I'm already hearing a few which I didn't breathe on air, festivals with big big name dancehall artists headlining out in the streets of the UK. Well, as I said, let me hold my tongue.
Two things that I also want to quickly mention. One, we want to all say congratulations to Skilly Bang, who came through as the Mobile Award winner from quite an attractive field. And he came through, and it's a good look for the young man from St. Thomas, from East Side. And so I want to say big ups to Skilly, of course. And I also like the fact that the crowd seemed to have been quite happy for him to win based on the reactions and the sounds that we heard, Robo. That was a good look for him. Like also his acceptance speech and what he had to say, and he's definitely on the up and up. We congratulate him.
Can't stop him
wholeheartedly. Yeah, man.
Respect, Skilly.
Yeah. His acceptance speech. I paused for a minute because I was saying, "What is this national TV?" And I was reminded, no, it's on YouTube. Don't worry, it's on YouTube. Because I thought, wow.
Choice
but
words.
then I realized it wasn't. I realized it wasn't on national TV. But usually that show is hosted on one of the national TV channels. But this year they chose to go virtual, online, everywhere, which is, in my opinion, a much better look for Mobos. I know a lot of people would have rather seen it on national TV, so the whole country. But sometimes you do things for the whole country, and you have to bend the show a certain way so it favors the whole country. And in the past, what it has caused is that the award show would make certain awards a bit more softer and more palatable for TV audience, and then it became more of a TV show. Now that you put the show, in some ways, force the show to be online, or as they say, quote unquote, underground, it has more of its authenticity about it.
Yeah.
So that's why Skilly Bang can run up on the stage and say, do something like this, people. Got a word for us, people. And the people were happy to do it. They obliged, you know what I mean?
Best Caribbean Music Act. They've actually changed the name of the category from Best Reggae Act to Best Caribbean Act. Although, for this year, they only had Jamaicans actually in the running. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention is just get well wishes to reggae legend Freddie McGregor. We know that he had a health challenge, and as a matter of fact, he should have been coming up in your direction there, Robo, for a tour of the UK and Europe with UB40, who have in fact sent out a message. They said to all our fans, this is coming from UB40, to all our fans, our good friend Freddie McGregor will not be joining us on our December arena dates in Leeds and Birmingham and London. We look forward to seeing all the fans and performing with Freddie soon. Stay tuned for upcoming announcements on future dates. That came from UB40. But what we're trying to say is just get well wishes to the captain of the big ship, Freddie McGregor. Hope he'll be A-OK in the very near future. Yeah, man.
Positive energy, people. Positive energy. If we all plow that energy into positivity, the captain will be sailing the ship real soon. Big up Freddie McGregor.
And we have a very special guest who is no stranger to us, but when certain topics pop up on our itinerary or program, it is quite likely that he will make an appearance, as he is this morning, for Man Chat, where the topic is toxic masculinity.
Oh boy.
And what is that? We understand that toxic masculinity isn't just about behaving like a man. Instead, it involves the extreme pressure some men may feel to act in a way that is actually harmful when you get right down to it. So toxic masculinity is said to glorify unhealthy habits, unfortunately. It's the notion that self-care is for women and men should treat their bodies like machines by skimping on sleep, working out, or even when they're injured and pushing themselves to their physical limits. And there's a whole lot of research that surrounds this topic, but we have a very important guest who is going to help us to dissect it and give us a clear understanding, as well as you up there in Bridge Nation. We're very pleased to have with us this morning Jeffery Azan, who is a transformational speaker and author. He's many other things to most of us here, but for now he's appearing as a transformational speaker and author. Morning, Jeffery.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy to be here. Happy to be a part of Up and Go this morning.
Welcome, man. Always always a pleasure to have you.
man.
Thank you.
And by the way, Bridge Nation, feel free to share any thoughts you might have on the subject on our WhatsApp number 876-551-5782. Jeffrey, I think there's a good way that we want to start, and that is for you to ask you if there's really such a thing as toxic masculinity, and how would you yourself define it?
But if we're really exploring the word toxicity or toxic, we're talking about poison. We're talking about something that is harmful to the body. And that's really what it is at the end of the day. It's an extreme. Okay? Poison, medicine is poison. You know, drugs are poison. It's just a matter of dosages. So toxicity, toxic masculinity is a too much of a perception of what it means to be masculine. And so you're really taking it to an extreme.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah. Which can be harmful.
Which, I mean, anything in its extreme is harmful. Too much sugar is diabetic, but just enough is delicious.
Right. So let's delve a little deeper into the subject. How does this toxic masculinity affect men, and where do you think it is actually rooted?
For me, I think toxic masculinity is surrounding this subject of today, which everybody seems to be struggling with, especially in the West, on this idea of who are we? We're having, you could almost say we're having a global identity crisis where people are struggling to figure out who they were. There was a time where things were heavily defined by roles. The man was the breadwinner and the woman was the caregiver, and the only person who ever had an identity problem was a teenager. And you found that to be the case historically, probably right up until the 70s or 80s, where, and I hope I'm not getting taken to task on this, but it really changed when women were welcome to the workforce. I mean, technically, if you're looking back at the history, that would have started in World War II, when most of the men went off to war and the woman had to step in to keep industry going. So it's not that a woman isn't capable of doing the job. It's not that women aren't good at doing the job.
Right.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, once roles were taken away and everybody was now able to do everything, people started having this huge identity crisis, where it was no longer defined what is a man or what is a woman, what is expected of me, what is not expected of me. And so you now have not just, let's not go into the other topics, but there's many topics that are now springing up out of this identity crisis, toxic masculinity just being one of them.
All right, my turn. Here we go now. So for me, my side, here we go. I don't know nothing about toxic masculinity, right? I just know about masculinity.
Okay.
Right? And I feel like this whole toxic thing, I blame social media, you see me? But watch this now. What I think happened with this toxic masculinity thing, Jeffrey, you can help me.
Sure.
All right. So what I think happened is that there's just masculinity,
Okay.
right? But over time, we've realized that certain characteristics that are associated with masculinity were actually harmful, weren't as good and I just feel like these are just the characteristics of masculinity that women just don't like. That's what I think.
Yes and no, but you see, it depends on who you're talking to. Just because they're the loudest in the room doesn't mean they're right. You know, very often when you talk to the people who are in the middle, they have a softer voice, but they're the much more rational, the much more understanding individual. But let's take an example of masculinity. What are one of the, I think, traditional and still standing today expectations of masculinity? And for me, that is the definition of protector, right? The physical protector. If harm was to happen, you're calling the police and you're calling the fireman. And very often that's who you expect to show up. It's not that a woman doesn't do the job, and in some instances they do the job better than some of their male counterparts. But traditionally, and just based on what is required in the scenario, you're going to call a man. Now let's take that to the extreme, the toxic part of it. What if protection becomes territorial, and territorial then becomes jealous? So now I'm willing to fight and protect just because of my perception, not because of actual threat. We've now taken masculinity to toxic. So it's not that there's anything wrong with the definition of masculinity. It's a matter of taking it to the extreme. So let's say within your role, how you as an individual define masculinity is as a breadwinner. That's another common traditional role. But are you going to tell your woman she can't have a job and she cannot earn an income? And because now that becomes toxic. So it's always about the extremes. You know?
Let's look at societal norms. The question I want to ask Jeffrey is, do you believe that what societal norms do you believe are harmful to men, and how can we address these?
I think the biggest one is the push down of your emotions. I had the privilege of being on Chasing Purpose a little while ago, and not the same question, but it's somehow the same answer. It comes back to the point of, it's not about not feeling your emotions, but there's a time and place for everything. And, you know, we're looking at a generation or 2 generations away from a war generation. There's no place for emotions in war. You know, it's kill or be killed. That's what war is. But they then had children, and they could only pass on. I mean, Shelz, how old are you?
28.
You're 28. All right. What if at 22 I took you and threw you in a battlefield and you survived that battlefield over the next 2 to 3 years? That would become the largest defining factor of your existence.
True. Yeah.
All right. Now, 26, you have kids. What do you teach those kids? You teach those kids how to survive in a battlefield.
Yeah.
And et cetera, et cetera. So we're having a multiplying effect. But in terms of the societal norms, it's definitely this big one that men shouldn't have feelings. Or I think, again, we're going into a toxic side of it now. Men should have all the feelings all the time, every second of the day. When the reality is there's a time and place for everything. You know, if somebody dies, some people that will be the time for them to grieve, but some people that will be the time for them to spring into action. And then there'll be another time for them to grieve. So that is, for me, the biggest societal norm that we need to address. You know, and there's another one, this idea that men shouldn't fight. I call BS on that, and I don't even care that we're on the radio. Like, I call BS on that. I think every man must learn to fight. I think every man must be willing to fight.
Explain that further.
Because we stand on a point.
Obviously not.
No, even, I mean, if you have to get it physical, you know, you have to get it physical, but that's a whole other, a deeper conversation. But you see, fighting is the concept of defending what you stand for. And a lot of people mistake fighting with aggression. A good fighter, talk to any great fighter, they're not aggressive. I mean, we have a champion here in Jamaica, Kyle Chin. Kyle might be one of the humblest, kindest human beings I've ever met in life, but I would never want to buck him in the cage. But what Kyle has that a lot of people don't is Kyle has confidence. Kyle has willingness to stand behind anything he believes in. Kyle has the fortitude to defend any point he stands on. And I think a lot of men today are told, go that way. And we go, oh, okay, I'm just going to go that way. Oh, do that.
It's like, all right, cool.
I think we need to learn to fight. And fighting means standing up for what you believe in.
Stand up for your rights and all of that,
exactly.
too. Well, you want to close out with some advice to men out there in terms of men who might possess the toxic masculinity trait?
I think the biggest thing for the men out there is really asking your question, are you taking it to the extreme? You know, there's a middle road. And I think the hardest thing for many of us is that if we're doing something and somebody advises us, I'm not even going to say corrects us, but they advise us, very often it's coming from a place to make us better.
True.
And so to the men out there, if you have somebody who you genuinely believe loves you and you genuinely believe you have love for them and they're telling you something, my strong advice is believe them. Believe them. They want better for you. Take the advice.
All right. I like it. I like that. No, hold on. My question. I have a question. The women, do they play a role in helping us?
Definitely, because they're defined by what their father demonstrated or lack thereof. So then they have a definition of what a man is supposed to be. And they may very possibly spur toxic masculinity again.
Facts.
You know, a lot of, we can take it from a more common example, men raised by a single mother. Men raised by a single mother tend to become one of two extremes. They either become super aggressive because they have a lack of a man in their life to demonstrate it. So they say, oh, this must be what a man is, and go all the way to the extreme. Or they become super feminine.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I blame tight pants on single mothers. I just being honest, you know.
It looks like we're going to have a part 2 on this. We might just have to. Jeffrey, it's a pleasure, man.
Always.
You added a lot of value to the feature Man Chat this morning, and we've learned a lot about toxic masculinity. We appreciate it, and we look forward to having you again with us sometime soon, bro.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you very
Always
much.
a pleasure, man. There's a big story that we want to delve into right now, and that is the fact that we as a country received the NSWMA 50 new garbage trucks, and that they came in November, according to NSWMA Executive Director Audley Gordon. Complaints are expected to fall by 50%. So let's tell you, the new shipment is expected to significantly boost the NSWMA's capacity for collection amid an island-wide lament about pileup of garbage. NSWMA currently has a ballpark fleet of 100 trucks on the ground, approximately 45 of which are government-owned. But the fact is, 50 new ones are here, and for that we give thanks.
Yeah,
so we have the chairman of the NSWMA, Dennis Chung, who's our guest at this time. Good morning, Dennis. Welcome. How you doing?
Morning, sir.
Hi, morning, Richie. I thought you were going to be like everybody else and say you want a truck for your road alone.
No, I'm not going to be that selfish. And I must admit that the guys who take care of that area are doing a good job. So I'm not complaining at all. I hope more people are able to say that, and I'm sure they will with the arrival of these 50 trucks, Dennis. They were long in coming, but I'm sure that we're all happy that they're here now.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, we have been anticipating these for a while. You know, we knew that we would have had this problem if we didn't have the trucks, but then, you know, Richie, COVID came. And, you know, with COVID, a lot of things were pushed back because there was 100 trucks that were being ordered. So we're happy that they're here now. You know, what we're focusing right now on is not what has happened over the past few months, which, you know, we've apologized about the situation, but we just couldn't collect garbage without trucks. And, you know, what we're going to be focusing on right now is ensuring that this is the cleanest Christmas that we've had in Jamaica. The ED said that we can have Christmas dinner on the ground.
Oh, wow.
Because
it will be that clean.
Yes.
How do you go about allocation, though? I mean, I know there are several regions across the island. Have you worked that out as yet? And how is it being done?
Yeah, man. They actually were sent off from yesterday, you know, right after the ceremony. So we have 4 regions across the island, and we do the allocation based on what the capacity currently is. So you'd think that MPM, which is Metropolitan Parks and Markets, which serves Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, you know, that they would have had the most allocated. But because we have most of the private contractors that we call supplementals in MPM, we only give MPM 10 new trucks because they have more capacity for hiring private contractors. WPM, which is Western Parks and Markets, which is in the West, has 12 sent to them yesterday. And then 10 were sent to the South, Southern Parks and Markets, which is the Manchester area, Clarendon area, and then Northern Parks and Markets, which is the area of St. Thomas, Portland, and that they were sent 10 also. And then 8 trucks, because that's 42. So 8 trucks were kept in a special unit, what we call a SWAT type unit for garbage, which we call the sweep operation, which what they will be doing, because we don't have enough trucks, because we really need about 150 to actually ensure that we maintain the schedule as we want. Then we have 8 of them that have been reserved as a SWAT unit sort of, so that when there's a pileup in any area or a threat of pileup, we just send those 8 in along with the regular trucks that are there to clean it up. So this morning they're going to Portmore, for example, because we know that Portmore has a problem. So 8 additional trucks are going into Portmore to just clean it up today.
Give thanks. Respect, Mr. Chung. Greetings once again. Shelz here.
Yeah, man.
Not to sound ungrateful, sir, 'cause, we're really grateful. But can
you want one for your road too?
No, not going there. No, we're good, man. No, but can NSWMA expect to receive any more trucks in 2023?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
The Minister of Finance graciously actually committed also that next year he has put in his budget for another 50 trucks to come in. And it's good that he has said it already, because what it means is that we can actually start the process now so that we don't have that long delay. So he has already budgeted for it. So we're moving ahead with starting the process. You know the procurement process in Jamaica. I mean, you start it now and your grandchildren benefit, right?
Yeah.
So we're starting the process now. Of course, there's been a significant improvement in procurement, which his minister has put in place. But it's still long, and we want to ensure that we get it in as early as possible next year. In addition to that, he has committed, just yesterday, he said to the Minister of Local Government, make sure you get some automatic, some mechanized street sweepers also.
Wow.
So we are putting in a request for 10 street sweepers, right? So in addition to the people who are out there on the road,
yes,
we want to have the mechanized street sweepers on the road.
By the way, the street sweepers will still have their jobs. Just to be clear.
Oh yes. Because I mean, even right now, there's a lack of capacity.
Oh.
So it's not that we're going to be replacing anyone. It's going to supplement and make the process a little easier.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Is there anything that householders and business operators ought to do just to make things a little easier in terms of garbage collection and the kinds of stuff that they should put out there to be collected?
Yeah, well, I mean, 70% of your garbage is compostable, right? So if you think about it, Richie, if people were at home to compost their garbage, they would be reducing the need to put out 70% of what they put out now. It means it's actually a financial benefit for them, because they will be creating good manure for their house, right? And even in complexes, you can do it and create manure for the complex. In addition to that, they would reduce the amount of money they need to spend on actually garbage bags, right? So the first thing we ask people is to consider composting so that we can reduce the amount of garbage that's put out there. The second thing, though, and more importantly, is package your garbage properly. You will know, Richie, that when you go to Manhattan and walking on the roads, there are a lot of businesses put a lot of garbage on the sidewalks, but they package it properly, and you're walking beside it and it comes in like nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Now, when you think about it, Richie, that garbage truck that comes and pick up the ones that are properly packaged spends about 2 or 3 minutes putting it in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
When it is not packaged properly and they have to spend the time shoveling it up, they spend 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So therefore, it gives them less time
to collect other people's garbage.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
So just those two things alone will help us significantly. In fact, the Australians, when they came here in 2015, which has a very good garbage collection system, they said that unless you have a proper way of disposing of your garbage at a personal level, he said you will never have enough trucks to collect garbage. Because can you imagine someone just throwing garbage behind them everywhere and you're just constantly behind them picking it up? And that is what people can do for us.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dennis. Well, listen, I hate to do this. I mean, you're here for one reason, but because you wear so many hats, I can't help myself without asking this one question of you. We saw the interview with Leon Bailey. You are the Gen Sec of the JFF, and I know that the JFF has put out a statement. Many people are wondering whether it will go beyond the statement and whether or not there's a contemplation of punitive action being taken against Leon for the statements that he made in relation to the JFF recently.
Well, Richie, that is out of my hands.
Okay.
I deal with administration. We at the board level and the administration level, we do not involve ourselves in what happens with the teams.
Okay.
So what has been happening, we referred it to the team manager and the coach, and whatever recommendation they come back with, we will adopt those recommendations, because we can't tell someone that we're holding you responsible for delivering something and then tell them what to do.
Oh.
So we're totally out of it.
Okay. But overall, in a nutshell, what's the initial reaction of the JFF from your perspective?
Well, we found it we found it very unfortunate, and we're disappointed that the statements were made, because there are avenues for people to express themselves internally if they have a problem, and we've never heard that. And we want to ensure that we have agreement and proper communication within the family, of the JFF. Initially, Richie, we were holding out on sending out a public statement because we were hoping it could have been handled internally. But what happened is that when a sponsor sends it to you, and there's potential financial and reputational fallout,
yes,
we had no choice but to issue the statement, which we didn't want to do. But it was just necessary for us to do that to protect the image of the JFF, the reputational damage of individuals, and any financial fallout. We found it unfortunate that it was said.
Yeah. So to the best of your knowledge, has he been called in to a meeting to have a little chat about it?
I am not sure yet.
Okay, all right.
The team manager and the coach will report on that.
All right. Dennis Chung, always a pleasure. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Respect, sir.
No problem. All right.
All right. He's chairman of the National Solid Waste Management Authority. That is what he came to talk about, primarily the whole matter of garbage collection, with the increased number of garbage trucks out on the roads, with 50 new ones coming in. But we just had to indulge him in his capacity also as GenSec of the JFF on that Leon Bailey matter.